if I said you can start your team with Ovechkin or Crosby?
I want them both because I want the playmaker and I want the goal
It
scorer.
doesn't work that way, Doc.
Okay, Crosby.
Okay.
And here's why. Because you do need goal scorers. I understand that. But Sid is the guy who is always going to be prepared to play first on, last off, is always going to be a playmaker and a guy that will lead by example. And that's not to say that Alex as captain does not. We saw what he did with Marc-Andre Fleury, and they were arch rivals, of course, for a long time. He has led by example too. But here's a story that showed what Alex has grown into, and it would make that on the total of years, Sid has done this in Pittsburgh, but Alex has picked up that slack in the later years in Washington. I was talking with Barry Trotz before what turned out to be the last game that Washington would play before they won the Stanley Cup championship. And I said, can you retell a story that you told me earlier in the year about Ovechkin? And so he did. And so I did tell this at the end of the playoffs when Washington was winning the Stanley Cup. It was that summer before, and the Capitals had disappointed again. And Alex was getting married, and Barry was invited. And so he went over to Moscow and attended the wedding. He was invited to the reception, and Barry said, I'm not going to go to the reception with a bunch of my hockey players. I'll wait. So he had dinner with Alex shortly thereafter. And he said, Alex, I've got to talk to you seriously about what's coming ahead. There is a lot of unhappiness in Washington. And there are people who think it's your fault. And there are people who think that it's the fault of some of your teammates. And there is going to be change. You are going to have to train like you never trained before. You are going to have to be the first guy on the ice. And you are going to have to be this team's leader. It's not pleasant to think about, but that's what's ahead. That fall, he came in and scored 7 goals in the first 2 games. And even though Washington fell behind in their playoff series, they were rallied and went ahead, and they went on and won the Stanley Cup. And he's been the great leader ever since. But Sid has been doing that ever since he came to Pittsburgh. And so when you force me into that corner and the paint is still not dried, I choose Sid.